Get ready to hold your breath because Emmerdale is about to detonate a storyline so explosive that will redraw the battle lines in the village forever. If you thought the feud between the Dingles and the Sugdens was a thing of the past, think again. Next week, we're not just revisiting old wounds, we're about to witness a war being declared, and the first casualty will be a heartbroken Victoria Sugden. In a move that will send shockwaves through the Dales, the unshakable Cain Dingle is set to sever all ties between the two families, leaving Victoria utterly shattered and alone. It's a story of family betrayal and the terrifying speed at which a life can unravel. And it all begins with a monster finally getting cornered. For weeks, we've watched in horror as the villainous John Sugden has manipulated, schemed, and destroyed lives with a chillingly calm demeanor. He has been a shadow lurking in the village, his sinister secrets festering just beneath the surface. But every villain has their reckoning, and John's is coming for him in the cold, unforgiving isolation of the woods. Can you even imagine the scene? The crisp autumn air, the rustling leaves whispering secrets, and the palpable tension as John finds himself face to face with the one person he can't outrun, his half-brother, Robert Sugden. The game is up. His web of lies has been untangled, his crimes laid bare. There are no more escape routes, no more innocent people to hide behind. He is trapped, a cornered animal with nothing left to lose. But for a man like John, surrender is never an option. Confession is a language he doesn't speak. Instead, he chooses chaos. In a final, venomous act of self-preservation, the medic pulls out his phone. But he isn't calling for help. He's calling the police to spin one last, devastating lie, a lie that will frame Robert for everything. As he speaks, painting his brother as the aggressor, the monster, he sets in motion a catastrophe. Then, in a moment that will be seared into our minds, he grabs his terrified husband, Aaron Dingle, and with a look of terrifying resolve, he leaps from the edge of a cliff, taking them both into the abyss below. It's a horrifying, desperate, and dramatic end to his reign of terror, but it's only the beginning of a whole new nightmare for everyone left behind. While this life-or-death drama unfolds on the cliff's edge, a different kind of horror is dawning back in the heart of the village. Paddy Kirk, a man whose gentle soul is his greatest strength, is wrestling with a terrible fear. He can't shake the feeling that something is deeply wrong with John. His concern stems from his volunteer work on an anonymous helpline, where a troubled soul recently unburdened themselves. Now, sitting in front of his laptop, Paddy makes a discovery that makes his blood run cold. A deleted email, a search history, a fragment of a message. The pieces click into place with a sickening finality. He realizes the guilty conscience he was counseling online, the voice confessing unspeakable things, belonged to John. He shares this terrifying revelation with Victoria, who has been trying to balance her loyalty to her family with a growing sense of unease. At first, she's in shock, refusing to believe it. Her brother, a killer? It's unthinkable. Desperate for answers, she reaches for her phone, frantically calling John, texting, pleading for him to respond. But all she gets is silence. A cold, deafening silence that amplifies her panic. The dread becomes suffocating. Begging Paddy to help her, they begin a desperate search, their calls echoing unanswered into the empty landscape. But the news of what happened in the woods travels faster than they can. And it's not the truth that spreads like wildfire, it's John's final, poisonous lie. The village is buzzing with the fact that Robert Sugden, consumed by rage, pushed his own brother and his husband off a cliff. This is where Victoria's world truly begins to splinter. She receives the news, and it's a physical blow. But the deepest cut, the one that will scar her forever, comes from Cain Dingle. Imagine Victoria, her mind reeling, her heart pounding with fear for both her brothers, looking for some semblance of support, some anchor in the storm. And instead she comes face to face with a cold, hard wall of Dingle fury. Cain, his face like thunder, his voice low and dangerous, confronts her. He isn't there to offer comfort. He is there as the patriarch of his clan, a protector of his own, and to him, Aaron's fall is a declaration of war by the Sugdens. He delivers the devastating ultimatum. The Dingles want nothing more to do with the Sugdens. Ever. The bond is broken. The families are done. He spits the words out with a finality that leaves no room for argument. Victoria, reeling, looks past him, her eyes pleading with Moira, her sister-in-law, her friend, her business partner. She's looking for reassurance, for someone to say Cain is just angry, that it will all blow over. But what she gets is the ultimate betrayal. Moira, her expression pained but resolute, backs up her husband. She stands with Cain. In that moment, Victoria is not just a Sugden. She is the enemy. The tears that stream down her face are not just of grief, but of profound, gut-wrenching loneliness. She is an outcast, torn between a brother who is a monster and another who is being framed for his crimes, and now she has been cast aside by the very people she thought were her extended family. The implications are catastrophic. This isn't just about hurt feelings or awkward encounters in the woolpack. Victoria, Robert, and Moira had just embarked on a promising new business venture, a beacon of hope for their futures. How can that possibly survive now? How can they stand side by side in a business meeting when their families are at each other's throats, believing the very worst of one another? This feud threatens to ruin everything Victoria has worked so hard to build. She is standing in the rubble of her life, and the path forward is impossible to see. Will she be forced to choose between her family name and her future? And as the village turns against Robert, will Victoria stand by him, even if it means alienating herself completely? Next week in Emmerdale isn't just an episode, it's an emotional reckoning. It's about the devastating ripple effects of one man's evil and the impossible choices it forces upon those left behind. Prepare for powerhouse performances, gut-wrenching scenes, and a family feud that will leave the entire village. And all of us watching, completely breathless. Don't miss a second.